Good morning, everyone. Okay, let's start. Hare Krishna, everyone. Let's start with Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we are reading Bhagwat Geeta as it is by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We last stopped at text 24. So let's start from text 25, chapter 1. We are reading chapter 1. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. Purport. As the super soul of all living entities, Lord Krishna could understand what was going on in the mind of Arjun. The use of the word Rishikesh is this in this connection indicates that he knew everything. And the word Partha or the son of Kunti or Pratha is also similarly significant in reference to Arjun. As a friend, he wanted to inform Arjun that because Arjun was the son of Pratha, the sister of his own father Vasudev, he had agreed to be the charioteer of Arjun. Now, what did Krishna mean when he told Arjun to behold the Kurus? What did he mean by that? Did Arjun want to stop there and not fight? Krishna never expected such things from the son of his aunt Pratha. The mind of Arjun was thus predicted by the Lord in the friendly joking manner. Yeah. So the Lord is becoming like, oh, he doesn't want to fight or what, you know. Okay. So text 26, let's move on. There Arjun could see within the midst of the army of both parties his fathers, his grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his father-in-law and well-wishers. Yeah. Purport. On the battlefield, Arjun could see all kinds of relatives. He could see persons like Bhurisrava, who were his father's contemporaries, grandfathers Bhishma and Somdatta, teachers like Dronacharya and Kripacharya, maternal uncles like Salya and Shakuni, brothers like Duryodhan, sons like Lakshmana, friends like Ashwathama, well-wishers like Kratavarma, etc. He could see also the armies which contained many of his friends. Let's move on to text 27. And the son of Kunti, Arjun, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives. He became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus. So now Arjun is telling Lord Krishna in text 28. He's already very overwhelmed seeing all of his relatives in the battlefield, and the thought of killing them was overwhelming. So, text 28, let's move on. Arjun said, my dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. Let's read the purport. Any man who has genuine devotion to the Lord has all the good qualities which are found in godly persons or in the demigods, whereas the non devotee, however advanced he may be in material qualifications by education and culture, lacks in godly qualities. As such, Arjun, just after seeing his kinsmen, friends, and relatives all on the battlefield, was at once overwhelmed by compassion for them who had so decided to fight against themselves. As far as his soldiers were concerned, he was sympathetic from the beginning, but he felt compassion even for the soldiers of the opposite party for seeing their imminent death. And while he was so thinking, the limbs of his body began to quiver and his mouth became dry. He was more or less astonished to see their fighting spirit. Practically, the whole community, all blood relatives of Arjun, had come to fight with him. This overwhelmed a kind devotee like Arjun. Although it is not mentioned here, still one can easily imagine that not only were Arjun's bodily limbs quivering and his mouth drying up, but he was also crying out of compassion. Such symptoms in Arjun were not due to weakness, but to his soft heartedness and characteristic of a pure devotee of the Lord. It is therefore said, one who has unflinching devotion for the personality of Godhead has all the good qualities of the demigods. But one who is not a devotee of the Lord has only material qualifications that are of little value. This is because he is hovering on the mental plane and is certain to be attracted by the glaring material energy. Amazing. Let's go to text 29. My whole body is trembling. My hair is standing on end. My bow Gandaiva is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning. Purport. There are two kinds of trembling of the body and the two kinds of standings of the hair on end. Such phenomena occur either in great spiritual ecstasy or out of great fear under material conditions. There is no fear in the transcendental realization. Arjuna's symptoms in this situation are out of material fear, namely loss of life. So, loss of life is also considered as material. Okay. So, this is evident from the other symptoms also. He became so impatient that his famous bow, Gandhaiva, was slipping from his hands, and because his heart was burning within him, he was feeling a burning sensation of the skin. All these are due to a material conception of life. So beautiful. Even loving someone is considered as wanting someone to remain alive is considered as material. So we learn this, like it gives us a lot of learning about death of our relatives, friends, closed ones. Anyway, let's move on to text 30. This is still Arjuna telling Krishna, I'm now unable to stand here and any longer. I'm forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune, O Krishna, killer of the Keshi demon. Purport. Due to his impatience, Arjun was unable to stay on the battlefield and he was forgetting himself on account of this weakness of his mind. Excessive attachment for this is very important. Excessive attachment for material things puts a man in such a bewildering condition of existence, right? Bhayam, this is some Sanskrit shlok which means such fearfulness and loss of mental equilibrium take place in persons who are too affected by material conditions. Arjun envisioned only painful reverses in the battlefield. He would not be happy even by gaining victory over the foe. Arjun is in that dilemma that even if he wins, he's not going to be happy because all his friends, relatives are going to die, and and in fact he's going to be the one to kill them. So, what is the point of even doing the war? That is the question coming to Arjun. The words nimittani viparitani, I hope that was right, are significant. When a man sees only frustration in his expectations, I'll repeat again, okay? Hear carefully. When a man sees only frustration in his expectations, he thinks, why am I here? Right? Everyone is interested in himself and his own welfare. No one is interested in the supreme self. Arjun is showing ignorance of his real self interest by Krishna's will. One's real self interest lies in Vishnu or Krishna. The conditioned soul forgets this and therefore suffers material pains. Arjun thought that this victory in the battle would only be a cause of lamentation for him. The most of us experience this even every on day-to-day basis. Okay, let's move on to text 31. I do not see how any god can come from killing by own kinsmen in this battle. This is still Arjuna talking to Krishna. Nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. Let's read the purport. Without knowing that one's self interest is in Vishnu or Krishna, conditioned souls are attracted by bodily relationships, hoping to be happy in such situation. In such a blind conception of life, look at the use of words, okay? In such a blind conception of life, they forget even the causes of material happiness. Arjun appears to have even forgotten the moral codes of a Kshatriya, right? So it is assumed that a Kshatriya, give it, come what may, will follow his duty, and if he is on the battlefield, he has to fight it because Kshatriya means a warrior, right? It is said that the two kinds of men, namely Kshatriya, who dies directly in front of the battlefield under Krishna's personal orders, and the person in the renounced order of life who is absolutely devoted to spiritual culture, are eligible to enter into the sun globe, which is so powerful and dazzling. Okay, the sun globe is considered as Goluka, like the place. It's a different planet, and we are talking of two people where one person is a warrior on the battlefield and the other person is a sannyasi, okay, who is completely devoted to the spirit world, spiritual culture. And they say that both of these are eligible to enter into the sun globe, okay. The sun globe is very powerful. He thinks that by killing this kingsman, sorry, okay, yeah, Arjuna is reluctant even to kill his enemies, let alone his relatives. He thinks that by killing his kinsmen, there would be no happiness in his life, and therefore he is not willing to fight. Just as a person who does not feel hunger is not inclined to cook. Beautiful comparison. He has now decided to go into the forest and live a secluded life in frustration. Tomorrow, if I think that, oh, kya karna hai life mein, I'll just go. Anyway, jokes apart. But as a Kshatriya, he requires a kingdom for his subsistence, right? Because the Kshatriyas cannot engage themselves in any other occupation. But Arjun has no kingdom. So Arjuna's sole opportunity for gaining kingdom lies in fighting with his cousins and brothers and reclaiming the kingdom inherited from his father, which he does not like to do. Therefore, he considers himself fit to go to the forest to live a secluded life of frustration. Okay, let's go to text 32 to 35. Text 32 to 35 is given together. So I'm just reading it's a very long one. O Govinda, O Govinda, of what avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusuna, sorry, O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers in law, grandsons, brothers in law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Drashata? Wow, amazing. Let's read the purport. Arjuna has addressed Lord Krishna as Govinda because Krishna is the object of all pleasures for cows and the senses. By using this significant word, Arjun indicates that Krishna should understand what will satisfy Arjun's senses. But Govinda is not meant for satisfying our senses, right? Govinda is not meant for satisfying our senses. If we try to satisfy the senses of Govinda, that is, we try to satisfy the senses of the Lord, however, then automatically our own senses are satisfied. This is so beautiful. Materially, everyone wants to satisfy his senses, and he wants God to be the order supplier for such satisfaction, right? हम लोग भगवान को प्रे करते हैं मुझे ये दे दो वो दे दो मेरे सेंस सेटिस्फाई कर दो, right? But that's not the way that we should be even thinking, yeah? The Lord will satisfy the senses of the living entities as much as they deserve, but not to the extent that they may covet, right? So जितना आपको मिलता है वो मैक्सिमम है, लाइक हाँ ये मैक्सिमम है, इससे ज्यादा नहीं मिल सकता, क्योंकि इससे ज्यादा अगर मिला तो मैं भटक जाऊंगा, राइट? मैं गॉडली पाथ से भटक जाऊंगा. सो दैट ऑल्सो ही इज सो काइंड, ही स्टिल गिव्स यू, but he is still protecting you, right? And but when one takes the opposite way, namely when one tries to satisfy the senses of Govinda without desiring to satisfy one's own senses, then by the grace of Govinda, all desires of the living entity are satisfied. Yeah. So he takes care of you because you are doing everything to satisfy him, right? Arjuna's deep affection for community and family members is exhibited here partly due to his natural compassion for them. He is therefore not prepared to fight. Everyone wants to show his opulence to friends and relatives, but Arjun fears that all his relatives and friends will be killed on the battlefield and he will be unable to share his opulence after victory. The opulence is all your riches, all the palace, the food, the jewelry, and the comforts of life, basically. This is a typical calculation of material life. Okay. The transcendental life, however, is different. So there is a clear difference between material life and transcendental life. Okay. We will learn about that now. Since a devotee wants to satisfy the desires of the Lord, he can, whatever he can, Lord will, uh, uh, Lord willing, accept all kinds of opulence for the service of the God. And if the Lord is not willing, he should not accept a farthing, right? Arjun did not want to kill his relatives. So it's wait, Arjun did not want to kill his relatives, and if there were any need to kill them, he desired that Krishna kill them personally. भगवान आप जाओ और करके आओ मुझे मत बोलो. At this point, he did not know that Krishna had already killed them before their coming into the battlefield, and that he was only to become an instrument for Krishna. It's already decided by the Lord that they are going to get killed, and if they have already died, they are saying. Only the process of killing was to be done by Arjun. So God is so smart, okay? This fact is disclosed in following chapters. As a natural devotee of Lord, Arjun did not like to retaliate against the miscreant cousins and brothers, but it was the Lord's plan that they should all be killed. The devotee of the Lord does not retaliate against the wrongdoer, but the Lord does not tolerate any mischief done to the devotee by the miscreants. Right? The Lord can excuse a person on his own account, but he excuses no one who has done harm to his devotees. Therefore, the Lord was determined to kill the miscreants, although Arjun wanted to excuse them. Yes, so beautiful. So the Lord has already decided that they have to get killed. And now, even if Arjun wants to excuse them, it's not going to happen. Text 36. Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Yeah, this is still Arjun telling Krishna, and he's giving his excuses that why we should not do this war. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dashrata and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune, and how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? Purport. According to Vedic injunctions, there are six kinds of aggressors. So we have six kind of aggressors. Aggressors are basically who are doing wrong things. One is a poison giver. Second, one who sets fire to house. Third, one who attacks with deadly weapons. Fourth, one who plunders riches. Fifth, one who occupies another land. And sixth, one who kidnaps a wife. Okay. Such aggressors are at once to be killed, and no sin is incurred by killing such aggressors, right? Such killing of aggressors is quite befitting any ordinary man. But Arjun was not an ordinary person. He was saintly by character, and therefore he wanted to deal with them in saintliness. This kind of saintliness, however, is not for a kshatriya, right? Although a responsible man in the administration of a state is required to be saintly, he should not be cowardly, right? Even if you are saintly, that's fine, but you should not be a coward. Basically, you must follow your duty, you must do as God says, even if it is something that you don't want to do. For example, Lord Ram was so saintly that people even now are anxious to live in the kingdom of Lord Ram, right? But Lord Ram never showed any cowardice. Ravan was an aggressor against Ram because Ravan kidnapped Ram's wife, Sita. But Lord Ram gave him sufficient lessons, unparalleled in the history of the world, In Arjun's case, however, one should consider the special type of aggressors, namely his own grandfather, own teacher, friends, sons, grandsons, etc. Because of them, Arjun thought that he should not take the severe steps necessary against ordinary aggressors. Right. In Arjun's case, it is different. They are all his relatives. But in case of Ram, Ravan was not related to Ram. So he was not affected this way. That's what they are trying to say. So Arjun thought that he should not take the severe steps necessary against ordinary aggressors. Besides that, saintly persons are advised to forgive. Such injunctions for saintly persons are more important than any political emergency. Arjun considered that rather than kill his own kinsmen for political reason, it would be better to forgive them on grounds of religion or, and saintly behavior. He did not therefore consider such killing profitable simply for the matter of temporary bodily happiness. After all, the kingdoms and pleasures, see how Arjun is trying to convince Krishna that let's forgive them, let's be saintly, saintly. So he's getting all these excuses to not go ahead and do the war. Okay. After all, kingdoms and pleasures derived from therefrom are not permanent. So why should he risk his life and eternal salvation by killing his own kinsmen? Arjun's addressing of Krishna as Madhava, or the husband of goddess of fortune, is also significant in this connection. He wanted to point out to Krishna that, as the husband of the goddess of fortune, he should not induce Arjun to take up a matter which would ultimately bring about misfortune. Krishna, however, never brings misfortune to anyone, to say nothing of his devotees, right? God is so kind, he'll never bring any misfortune by himself to anybody. And definitely if that person is a devotee, then definitely not. So I think we can stop here. We will start with 37 and 38 tomorrow. And my God, this was very, very interesting. So join me in closing the session by saying the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope you got some insights today. You enjoyed it. Thank you.